I think typically in the kind of small apartment quarters that most people are living in, like the kitchen is similar to what you'd see in America. Not far off, maybe a little smaller, but you know, you got a table and some chairs. The missionary apartments were definitely like that. The sleeping quarters were basically never anything like what they're here like in America. You have like the I shouldn't say the private, like the sleeping rooms are almost always tatami mats, which are the tightly woven straw mats, and they would sleep on futons. I think in America we are familiar with something like a futon. Is that how you say it? Futon, right? Just weird. But those are kind of these larger beds almost with like maybe a 6-inch thick mattress that's like kind of a double size. I'm not sure how that got translated to that, but it's not your typical like spring mattress, at least I don't think, which is more like a futon. And a futon is usually just like twin size, maybe a little smaller, and you sort of fold it up. And during the day, we'd usually fold it into thirds and actually slide it into a closet and just shut the closet, and your bed was gone, and the room was open for whatever you needed it for. You usually didn't have like a lot of furniture in these rooms because the floor mats would get squished and destroyed kind of over time by that sort of thing. Sometimes in missionary apartments, I feel like we had typical dressers and stuff because missionary apartments are a little different, but so they had a lot more of that, and they did have the paper sliding doors between a lot of rooms. In terms of heating, cooling, it was usually room by room. Like you'd have one AC vent, like one AC unit in a room, and you'd close all the paper doors and you'd turn it on and you'd stay in that room. And once you left the room, you'd turn off the AC and the light because it's more of the mindset. Whereas in America, we kind of leave things on and we have the whole house kind of ready for us to be in at any time. We leave lights on. It's a lot more conservative in that way in Japan. And then there were people who had kind of nicer dining rooms, more. Sorry, what's the room you call where you actually eat in it? There's the kitchen and then the dining room. They somehow have a dining room with the straw mats. And this was cool. What they would do is you have the straw mats and then you'd have a recession in the floor, like a square one, and the table would be in that. So you'd actually, sometimes the table was just only sort of like a foot or two high and you just cross your legs underneath it. But sometimes they'd have this recession and you could put your feet down in there. And so the floor sort of became the chair, and then there's the table. And sometimes they'd even have, the table would have another sort of tabletop layer, a heavy tabletop layer on top of the main table, and between there they put a sort of blanket, and it would drape over the sides so you could put it over your legs and it'd be really warm. And sometimes underneath the table they'd even have a heater. And so you'd put your legs in this like little recession in the ground with the table over you, and you put the blanket down, and then it's heated under there, so it was great. Every time like a member had one of those that was common, that would sometimes invite the missionaries over, you're really excited. Got to go use their amazing heated table situation, and those were cool for sure. But yeah, I'd say that's about what it's like. You got a lot more of the straw mats, and pretty uncommon to have carpets in your house, I think. Usually it's like kitchen's wood floor and then straw mats in your own room there and that sort of thing.